Good morning, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, morning headlines on September 22, 2023. Iran stops families marking anniversaries of protesters' deaths. BBC, family of Iranian teen calls off memorial amid heightened security presence. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, a year after Mahsa Amini's death, Iran's women continue their long fight for women, life, freedom. The Conversation, a year after protests, Iran remains restive. Hindustan Times, sporadic protests continue in Iran as Mahsa Amini anniversary passes. The World. Bargain bus trips save the pennies and the planet. The Guardian, all aboard. Can Luxembourg's free public transport help save the world? Shutdown looms as warring House Republicans leave town. Do China's recent military purges spell trouble for Xi Jinping? BBC, flux in China's top ranks could be a moment of acute geopolitical risk. The Telegraph, the disappearance of China's defense minister raises big questions. The Economist, as Xi Jinping sacks ministers and generals, China pays the price for his one-man rule. iNews, defense minister's disappearance latest case of missing Chinese official. Exclude fossil fuel firms from COP28 if they only want to obstruct, says ex-UN chief. Adam Schiff accuses Republicans of setting stage for Trump dictatorship. The Independent, Swalwell on Jim Jordan's DOJ attacks, there is no credibility on that side. MSNBC, Eric Swalwell slams Jim Jordan with killer troll during Garland hearing. The New Republic, video, lawmaker calls out Jim Jordan over threats against Garland. Ukraine soldiers chew and choke Russian occupiers as Zelenskiy quotes Abraham Lincoln. Crown Prince confirms Saudi Arabia will seek nuclear arsenal if Iran develops one. The Guardian, Mohammed bin Salman ashamed of Saudi Arabia's draconian laws. The Telegraph, Saudi Arabia's MBS warns if Iran gets nuclear weapons, we have to get one. Al Monitor, if they get one, we have to. Saudi Arabia will seek nuclear weapon if Iran does. Video. The Guardian, Saudi Arabia, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon so will we. Brazil's Supreme Court to vote on decriminalizing abortion. Brazil's top court boosts indigenous rights in landmark ruling. BBC, Brazil's Supreme Court rules in favor of indigenous land rights in historic win. The Guardian, Brazil's top court rules in favor of indigenous rights in land claim case. Al Jazeera English, tears of joy after Brazil's Supreme Court makes milestone ruling on indigenous lands. The Independent, Brazil's indigenous peoples celebrate massive land rights victory. New York school bus crash, faulty tyre leaves 2 dead and 5 critically injured. Alarm over, fascist-like, protest at Ireland's seat of government. The Guardian, Leo Varadkar condemns protest outside Irish Parliament. BBC, gallows protest vile and vicious attack on democracy. ITV News. ITV News, who are the Awaictas protesters and what were they protesting against? The Irish Times view on Leinster House disturbances. Far-right must be resisted by all. The Irish Times. Tourist calls police after being charged £500 for chilli crab in Singapore. Despite risks, fish farms are booming in Africa. Zelenskiy secures $325 million in new U.S. aid even as Republican support wanes. The Guardian, what would happen to Ukraine war if Trump became president again? Channel 4 News, Ukraine war latest, Biden welcomes Zelenskiy to White House, as Ukrainian leader asked what his plan is for victory. Sky News, Ukraine, Zelenskiy under pressure as allies' priorities shift. 2 of Norway's top female politicians hit by scandal over husband's secret shares. Fentanyl stash found in New York nursery days after toddler died from suspected overdose. Sky News, New York police find drugs in trapdoor at fentanyl nursery. BBC, baby killed by fentanyl at New York nursery sees police launch manhunt for owner's husband. The Mirror, Queen's drug bust reveals fentanyl danger to children. Fox 5 New York, nursery owner faces drug charges after boy's death. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky makes unannounced visit to Canada. BBC, Ukraine-Russia war, we've got no money, Republicans tell Zelenskiy. The Telegraph, Zelensky to speak before Canadian Parliament in his campaign to shore up support for Ukraine. The Independent, how Norway outstrips US on Ukraine spending. BBC, Volodymyr Zelensky urges US to hold firm on Ukraine support despite Republican detractors. Poland's ruling party pivots away from Ukraine in attempt to shore up votes. The Guardian, Poland stops its Ukraine weapon supply. BBC News. BBC News, German lawmaker, PiS plays political games against Kyiv. EURACTIV, Poland's damaging quarrel with Ukraine. Financial Times, a shadow of Ukraine fatigue hangs over Polish politics. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.